so cool. I just cannot wait to tell our nursing leaders tomorrow when I'm at work. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a nurse for almost 37 years and been at Nebraska Medicine for 25. My background is primarily pediatric oncology before I got into nursing leadership, and I love pediatric oncology. It was definitely a calling for me, and it was a great field for me to be in. But um, I'm a lifelong learner. I started with an associate degree, but went right into a bachelor's program. Worked for a little bit, got a master's degree because I thought I wanted to teach in a college of nursing, but became a nurse practitioner instead and did that for a while. Like I said, moved here I'm originally from New Jersey, moved here 25 years ago. My 25-year anniversary at Nebraska Medicine was just last Friday. And got my PhD because I thought I wanted to teach again and decided no, I still like the acute care setting or the healthcare system setting. So have been in my chief nursing officer role. It'll be 6 years in a couple months. And when I first got into this role, I realized that my clinical background was great. My education was great. Um, all of my degrees were in nursing, and that healthcare really is a business. And so I needed some business education. So I got my MBA about 4 years ago now. So again, lifelong learner, but I will not be enrolled in a program ever again. I am done. I'm not jumping back in like Paula here after 17 years. I am done. So very proud to work at Nebraska Medicine. I think it's just a great facility. We're not perfect. We obviously have opportunities for certain things, but what I love about nursing in general is that you can do just about anything you want. You can go away for 17 years and come back. You can work with babies. You can work with the dying. You can just do everything and anything in between, which I think is different than medicine, right? Medicine, you pretty much get pigeonholed into a certain specialty for the most part. And then that's all you do for your entire career. And unless you really want to make a big change, you just don't. So what I really love about nursing is just the flexibility. And what I like about Nebraska Medicine is that we are a health system. So we have the Academic Medical Center on the main campus at 42nd and Dodge. And then we have our Bellevue Bellevue Medical Center, which is more of a community-based hospital, but we are moving more academics down there. We have clinics. We have a clinic in Grand Island. We have a clinic in Lincoln. We have a clinic in Elkhorn. We just continue to expand. And so there's just so many different things you can do. And if you try something and you want to try something different, you can still stay within Nebraska Medicine and just do something different. So one of the things I like about Nebraska Medicine is the tenure of the people that are here. There's a lot of people that stay with Nebraska Medicine for a very, very, very long time, 35, 40 years. I met a nurse from NICU who says that her husband teases her that she has the shortest resume ever. She started working in the NICU out of nursing school and stayed in the NICU for 40 years before she retired.
Wow.
There was just another person from the NICU who retired after 38 years just a couple weeks ago. And it's just, like I said, you can stay where you want, or there's people who start as a patient care tech and then become a nurse and then on a maybe med surg and then go to critical care and then maybe go to a case management role. There's just so many things to do. I love it. So would really like to hear from Paula and Dorelia by chat and Karen as to what do you think you might be looking for to see how we could guide you to the right place to start? And anybody can just jump in at any time, whatever.
I'm thinking that we needed Paula when we lost the ability to do the electronic charting.
You know, it's funny you should say that. I was thinking that when she said it. Paula, we had a cybersecurity incident in September where we were without our computer system for several days and almost a week, really, in some places. And our residents didn't know how to write an order. We had our more experienced nurses saying, you take a piece of paper, you take a pen, and these are the words you write, because they're just used to click, drop down menus. And it was amazing to me. They actually said, thank goodness for the old time nurses, because they helped them to get through it.
Yes. When I was at Madonna, it was the younger generation, maybe it's the younger, they were going so fast, and it'd be like these drop down menus. And I'm used to, going in the chart, everybody in time, doing this, putting your initials. If you made a mistake, crossing through, initialing that. I was at Clarkson ICU at the 800 side back in the day when they first got the Pyxis.
Oh my gosh.
We used to have to count the drugs, you know, with the key on your wrist and open the door, and
Yep.
and we had just gotten the Pyxis when I left there.
Oh my goodness. And if you went home with the key in your pocket, you had to turn around and come back with the key.
Yes, you did.
Oh my gosh. When did you work with us prior?
Oh, I was just sitting here looking. It would have been around 2000.
That's cool. Well, welcome back.
Yeah, for sure.
Welcome back.
Well, perfect.
Paula, what do you think? You said you could do, you know what, Christy, I'm just going to shut up. I'm sorry. This is you're supposed to be facilitating.
No,
not me.
you're fine.
I'm just so excited. I'm so excited.
This is
No,
fun.
you're fine. Well, no, so I mean, basically what I wanted to go ahead and kind of jump into, I had a whole kind of spiel, but since, you know, we're a smaller group, we can definitely make it a little more informal and kind of, like I said, gear it towards what you guys are specifically looking for. So I guess, Paula, since we'll start with you a little bit, if you want to say, so obviously when you get back into nursing, tell me a little bit about like what that first job back into nursing looks like for you.
I'm looking for, where am I needed? How can I help out? Again, I'd hate to be thrown right into the deep end because I would probably sink a little bit, not being able to do all this electronic stuff. I'm kind of open. I've done med surg before. I've done visiting nurse. I've done, I did the ICU. I wasn't there that long, but I mean, I've done enough. Wherever I'm needed. I mean, I don't think I need my hand held. I'm very good with my clinical skills, but the new technology, again, back in my day, we had the Baxter pumps. I mean, I'm sure all that has changed. So I need help understanding that.
Perfect. No, that sounds good. Well, and
Do
then
you want the sorry, Christy, do you want the inpatient arena?
I don't mind. I like it. I'd love to do 12-hour shifts again. In the situation I had been in years ago, he wouldn't allow it.
Okay.
So.
Okay. No, that's good because not very many people want 12s at our age.
See, well, at my age, I'm at a place in my life where all I'm accountable for is a 3.5-pound teacup Yorkie. I can work weekends. I can work holidays now. I can do whatever. And it's great.
That's cool. Really cool. I'm writing your name down.
I think we'll definitely be able to find something for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But I appreciate your honesty because
Yeah.
we can gear your orientation to what it is that you need. If we know ahead of time that it's more the electronic stuff that will just slow you down a little bit, we'll just make sure that we're, you know.
The electronic charting. Like I said, when I was at Madonna, I was fascinated because they had a new machine there where you could test to see how full the bladder is. It was like a portable little ultrasound.
Yeah, the bladder scanner. Bladder scanner. Yeah, that's cool.
Yes. And I was just like so enamored with it. I was like trying to test everybody to see how full their bladder was. And a lot of the same things, a lot of things haven't changed as far as, you know, you still straight cast somebody the same way, you know, it's just different systems now. It used to be the Pyxis, other places, technology has come along. That's where I would be behind. My clinical skills are still there.
Good. Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Karen, if you wouldn't mind sharing as well, do you want to tell us a little bit about so what that, you know, position looks like for you that you would be looking for?
You know, I know there's so many ICUs in the med center, and with having closer to 20 years there, I think I'm ready to step back a little bit from like all the intensity of that huge fast pace. But I think I would still like something well, inpatient, outpatient. I enjoy teaching patients about things, about their cares, what they're going to need, yeah. So it's just finding out where the greatest need is and seeing if I would fit there.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect. Thank you for sharing. And then Gloria, if you want, I don't know if your audio is working, you can definitely try again, or if you want to use the chat box, Sue, we might need you to translate again.
Yeah, that's good. I got it up.
It wasn't popping up for me, but.
there? I can see it now.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
yep,
sorry,
so-
you're
sorry,
having-
having problems. Yeah. So now we're gonna watch
Technical
her typing.
difficulties are the
We'll watch
word.
her typing skills as she goes.
Yeah.
I think Dora and I, we were communicating by email today, weren't we? Yeah.
I'm curious how you all heard about this event. I always like to know that.
I got an invite
Okay.
in my email box. I don't know how, but I did.
Well, we
You're a
probably
nurse
pulled it.
express.
We probably pulled it on the DHHS when you got re-registered. So
Okay.
yeah.
Me too. I had an invite on my email.
Perfect.
Oh, good.
Okay, do you want me to read it? Christy, can you see it or not?
Yep, I can see it now.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Perfect. Okay, so you were
Critical care
for a
position.
critical care position. Okay, awesome. Well, good. Thank you for sharing, and I'm glad the chat will work. So,
Oh, but she's a dermatology NP.
oh, okay. Messenger. Perfect. Okay. Well, good. Very good. So I do our kind of, as Erin mentioned in the beginning, I do our ambulatory, like clinic nurse positions, nursing care coordinator, case manager, that type of stuff. And then the other half of my job is our APPs. So nurse practitioners and the physician assistants. So you can definitely feel free to chat in the box that we can definitely talk about in the future too for nurse practitioner positions as well. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. So I mean, a little bit kind of about what we have about, I think about 10 minutes. Is that right, Erin? Okay, about 10 minutes left. So I just, obviously we can keep it as open as possible. A lot of what I had available, I can kind of gear it towards you guys. Now, Paula, as I mentioned, I specifically do a lot of the ambulatory, but if it's something that you're interested in getting back into bedside, obviously Erin and Ashley are both great resources to kind of see what kind of fit you're looking for, or if it's more of like the ambulatory setting, that's what a lot of what I have available too. Like triage nurse, or clinic nurse positions are a lot of what I recruit for. So we have so many different specialties in all the clinics. So primary care clinics, internal medicine, family medicine, our immediate care clinics. That's as Sue mentioned, we've got clinics all over Omaha, Grand Island, Lincoln. There's some in Iowa too. So just kind of all over the board. So that's a lot of the types of positions that are going to be like that. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, no weekends, no holidays, that type of stuff. So I know sometimes those type of hours are definitely appealing to people who are interested more in the clinic setting. And then some of the other positions that I had too, if anyone was looking for more supervisor ones, is we were talking a little bit about like nurse supervisor positions in the inpatient setting. We had a couple of those available. And then really what Sue was mentioning, how you can, start out in nursing and go in so many different directions. I listed some of the positions that I have that are like infection preventionist, poison center, trauma program coordinator, like all these different positions that nursing can really take you so far. And it's just, finding it what you're looking for and everything too. So it's kind of endless, I would say, for sure. And then, so let's see. So let me recap. So Karen, you said that you were looking for ICU. Is that correct?
I think she
She's
said she's
looking-
stepping back from ICU.
Yeah, ready to leave.
Oh, step back from ICU.
Step
Okay,
back from
so
ICU.
okay, perfect. Thank you. And then Paula, you said that you're open to inpatient, maybe consider clinic, just kind of open for.
I'm open to whoever could use me or need me. Let me know.
Well,
That's a
Erin
great
and Ashley, do you
attitude.
know? Do we have any
We want to hire
positions
her
open?
just for that. We just want to hire her for her wonderful attitude.
Well, it's just, I don't know where to begin. When you come back in, I want to be where I can help out. I don't want to just be twiddling. That's very important to me. And I'm flexible now, and I put in a lot of effort. I got my license back up, and I'm kind of excited. And I mean, right out here on 204th, they're opening up a new Nebraska ortho place. I mean, there's places opening up all over. And I'm going to be honest with you, the electronic thing, I thought I was applying for jobs, and apparently I was applying at these headhunter places.
Oh,
So it's like, that's why I thought this would be great tonight, so I could learn how to apply. But then if you guys, this is great, you guys know what you need to fill, instead of me applying for something that I'm not really a good fit, or you want more experience, you guys know me and know, okay, she's done this years ago. She's got her license, let's put her here. If this don't work, move me there. I'm flexible.
That's so
Awesome.
great.
Yeah.
I appreciate your flexibility.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of, I was typing down, so these are, I apologize in advance, a lot of it's a little more biased to the positions that I specifically recruit for, but Ashley and Aaron, obviously feel free to jump in at other ones that come to mind for any of them. Also, hello to the dog, it's adorable.
Yes. Oh, look at her face, so cute.
Oh my gosh, so cute. But some of the positions that I just jotted down, again, like I said, I typically recruit for more in the ambulatory setting. But some of them that I just jotted down that we are, currently recruiting for. So for clinic nurses, I do have some openings in our, at Grand Island, if any of you are interested in the Grand Island location.
No, not Grand Island.
Didn't figure that this particular group, but so triage nursing, that's a huge one. I have a big push for our medical communication center. We've got a ton of positions opening up for a new, I guess you could call it a program, but our primary care first, which is part of the medical communication, the medical communication center for triage nursing. And then I have our ENT, cardio, ortho, pain management, a primary care float pool, and then a donate life nurse position as well. And then another big push that we're doing, obviously, of course, is for COVID. So we do have our swab center, which is going to be located here it's around 144th and Q. So we do have a lot of, I suppose you could say, kind of like temporary positions out there right now right now I have part-time and then full-time for our COVID center for the vaccine and swab. So that's definitely a great type of position to get in if you're kind of just looking at pickup hours and that type of stuff right now. Some of the other interesting ones for staff nurse positions that kind of fall under me are still going to be in usually still around like that Monday through Friday hours, but I do have our hyperbaric unit for HBO, sorry. And then a oral surgery clinic position that we just had open up as well. So for two of those. And then some of the other ones that I just jotted down as well. So for nursing care coordinator positions. Now, Karen, this might be one that you might be interested in. I always like to think these are kind of a hybrid position between a clinic nurse and then a case manager. So it kind of has some of the same aspects for, doing, phone triage, medication refills, scheduling, and then some aspects of a case manager position where you get to help more out with like the plan of care of patients and working closely with the providers. But we call those nursing care coordinator positions. And then, so I have some of those for our ortho clinic, our primary care clinic down at Midtown, the Durham Outpatient Center Family Medicine Clinic. And then I will be having a new one open up probably later this week for nephrology as well. So those are just some of the ones that I have currently posted right now that I just wanted to chat about. But any questions over any of those ones specifically? I know that was a quick rundown.
I did put the link to the career site in the chat. So it's just nebraskamed.com/careers. When you're on there, if you even just search RN or staff nurse, all of the nursing positions should pop up. And I'll mention this to the bigger group later on too, but our positions come and go on a regular basis. So we're constantly posting new positions, filling positions. So if you don't see something that totally catches your eye tonight, there's, in a couple of days, we'll probably have some new fresh ones for you to look at too.
Oh, for sure. Good. And then I think we're also going to talk about this in the big group as well, but just kind of the process. If any of you guys are kind of interested in what that looks like, but really the first step is, I know we have a lot of jobs posted first of all, but on the side of our careers page that Erin posted, you can definitely start going by like full-time, part-time, you can do specialty nursing, that kind of stuff, and really kind of filter down some of those main interests. And then of course you can scroll for days at all of the nursing positions. But then really once you find that you're more than welcome to apply than more than one. Usually I would say anywhere to start, I would say 3 is probably a good number to start. And then once you talk with the recruiter for the different specialties, it's good. They can, let you know about other opportunities, or if you want to have like a main preference to start, and then we can always reconsider some after there's that way. But after you apply for the positions, usually most of our nursing positions do have an assessment that you'll take. So you'll see that right away while you're applying. And then we do the phone screen portion, which is more of that conversation based with like someone like myself, a recruiter, and then really going into like what you're looking for, type of hours, pay, all of that type of stuff that will cover benefits, all of that. And then likely if it's something that you're still interested in and wanting to move forward with, then we'll move you forward to talk to the manager. Usually it's either the manager and a supervisor. Most of the time it's probably more than one person or of a panel style type interview. But then you'll do that over Zoom. We are still pretty much doing everything, as you can see, over Zoom for a manager interview and everything. And then after that, after you interview and everything, and if everything goes well, then we get to the offer part, which is definitely my favorite part of the whole process, where I get to call candidates and let them know that we do want to go ahead and move them forward and offer them and start a career at Nebraska Medicine. So that's just a little bit about the process. That was a good time, because it looks like we'll be break that back out. But does anyone have any other questions or anything like that before we go? Okay.
Just really quickly, I just chatted with Erin. Dora, it was nice to meet you as well. Paula, I think given that you are literally willing to go anywhere, and Dora and Karen, I don't mean any disregard for you because you're a little more focused. Paula, I think it might be good for us to arrange for you to talk to a med-surg, progressive care, and an ICU manager to just learn more about their units, just to kind of see what it's like 17 years later, and maybe I want to put you in, if you're willing to come to Nebraska Medicine, if you want to come, I want us to make sure that you're successful. So I think we should make sure you talk to people first.
Okay.
And Dora, you have a really interesting plan for NP and RN. So I would love to talk more to you too. So, and Karen, we'll find.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you liked your first breakout session. Go ahead and use the chat function and let us know what your thoughts. Did you like it? Was it long enough? Did you learn something new? Let us know what your thoughts were on that first breakout. All right, so at this time now, I'm going to turn it over to Melanie and Meg. They are our Bellevue Medical Center Med-Surg managers, and they are going to give a nice little backstory again, where we are letting the secret out of Bellevue Medical Center. So I'm going to turn it over to them.
Awesome, Erin. Thank you so much. After being in the break room, which I thought was awesome, I feel really blessed and honored to be able to share a little bit about Bellevue Medical Center with all of you. We were just in the chat room with some amazing leaders, and I think that any place you choose at Nebraska Medicine, you're lucky to be here or be there. Many fantastic leaders and staff on all the units. Most of my experience comes from main campus, and I was blessed to have multiple opportunities there, but came to Bellevue Medical Center about 3 years ago and have really just felt like I found my niche. I live in Bellevue. I love the fact that I feel like I'm supporting my community by being here at Bellevue. And I really, to Erin's point, I think it's a little hidden gem. I think that you would never regret having an experience here at Bellevue. So as Melanie and I begin our presentation, you can see on the front, there's that's our hospital. It's tucked away off of 25th and 370. The photo that's there, I felt like really represented what all of us have been going through the last 11 months with COVID. This was actually given to us from a patient that we cared for on our COVID unit for the thanks that he provided for the wonderful care that he received at Bellevue from our COVID team. So we're very, very proud of this. And I think it's just very representative of all that we do. This gentleman touched all of our departments, our emergency department, our med-surg unit, and our physicians. He complimented, and we're just really, I think, again, it's representative of Bellevue. Erin, do I do the slides, or will you move the slides? Oh, there we go. I'm not going to go in depth into this. Thank you, Erin.
Yep.
I just really, Melanie and I really wanted to have our mission, our values at Nebraska Medicine and our presentation. We really work hard, and we're going to talk a little bit about the emergency department. Amy Mead is on as well, and so anything Amy wants to add once we get to the emergency department, I definitely invite her to do that also. But we really try to ensure that we're incorporating these values every day and the culture that we have at Bellevue. We start all of our meetings. We have lots of initiatives that reward and focus and recognize our team based on the values that you see here on our screen. You can go to the next slide. I'm gonna let Melanie talk a little bit about our Med-Surg unit.
Thanks, Meg. Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie Tuomohiloa. Thanks so much for taking some time and joining us tonight. So one of the great things, as was mentioned earlier, is even though Bellevue Medical Center is its own little hospital, we are completely supported by main campus. We have the same policies, same HR team, same benefits, all of that. So really great environment and atmosphere. It's just that small town community feel, but you're still a part of that big academic medical center. So one other little perk about Bellevue is that the parking is close and it's free. And so that's one really exciting thing that our team really enjoys. As soon as you walk in the doors, the main doors, you kind of notice that small town feel, and you just get to know everybody in all the other departments. It's a really collaborative environment where you can work with the ICU team, the ED. You just have that good communication. The physicians get to know you. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide, Erin. So this is what one of our med-surg rooms looks like. We have lots of really exciting things going on at Bellevue. Some physician interests. We have a ortho population down there now, and we are probably going to expand on that a little bit. And then some other cardiologists are also interested in moving down to Bellevue. So that's really exciting for our teams. All of our rooms are private patient rooms. We have the 3rd and 4th floor. It's one unit, although it's on 2 separate floors. So there's a total of 36 beds on each floor. And right now we're only going to a max census of about 52. So with the added physicians, we're trying to get additional nurses going down there. So that way we can expand and fully open all of our beds to 72. I don't know how soon that'll happen, but it's definitely in the future. So we care for all different types of patients, medical, surgical, the cardiac patients. Some of our patients are on telemetry. One of the great things that we have is our patients are monitored by the heart monitoring unit, which is also on main campus. So we do some different types of cardiac drips on our floor, which is a little unique. Not all med-surg units do that. But we also have those ortho patients, and we're stroke and chest pain certified center. So all of our nurses are stroke certified. That's part of the onboarding process, that they receive their NIH stroke certification. You can go ahead to the next slide. So we want to make sure that all of our team feels really supported. Like many other units in the hospital, we have that supervisory structure of leadership. We have 5 amazing supervisors that work alongside of us. There's 3 day supervisors and 2 night supervisors that work right alongside Meg and I. They are in a charge nurse type role for 3 shifts out of the week, 3 12-hour shifts. They keep our unit running nice and smooth. They oversee all of the admissions and discharges, bedding of the patients, and the assignments. They also have admin time each week, so that way they can really meet with their direct reports. So if you were offered a position on our unit, you would directly align to one of our supervisors. You would have monthly one-on-ones with them. They would be able to provide any follow-up, any coaching that you need right alongside me and Meg. So that's one of our great things about our supervisors. They also do our performance appraisals because they really get to know you best. The staffing, like many other med-surg units, we follow the same matrix, staffing matrix as the med-surg units. So on days, we try to keep our ratios at 1-4. Occasionally, we may stretch and go to 5, but again, that's our supervisors making sure that the acuity of the patients is appropriate. On nights, we keep our nurses at a 1-5 ratio and may occasionally stretch to 6, but we try really hard to keep them at a 1-5. We have lots of care techs working on our unit, and so you'll have that patient care tech support. Our nurses and care techs work really well alongside of each other. We have awesome teamwork on our unit. And we also have the swoop nurses. So they're in-house Monday through Friday for 12-hour shifts, and they really oversee the throughput of the hospital. So they float around between our med-surg, our ICU, and our ED. They will help you with admissions, discharges, transfers, anything you need. Difficult IV sticks. They place midlines for us in our hospital, and they also place our feeding tubes for us too. So really great support that we like to offer. And then our training, we talked a little bit about this. Our average orientation for our new grad RNs is about 8 weeks. Let's see, our nurse residency, I'm not going to talk too much about that because I know Kaylee Guinan is going to hit on that at the end. So with the experienced nurses, we try really hard to keep you at 6 weeks of orientation, but if you need that additional 2 weeks and stretch to 8, we can definitely do that too. So you can go ahead. Thanks. These are some of the fun pictures that we take. Our world is busy and it's fast paced, but we try to make it fun and positive, and we have an awesome teamwork environment. So again, Meg touched on that picture that we received from the patient. We were really proud of that. And then there's just a couple other pictures. That bottom picture is part of our leadership team. So we like to do little fun outings together too. You can go ahead.
So just briefly too, we wanted to touch on the ED and the ICU. So as you can see, this is a picture of one of our intensive care unit beds. It's a small 8-bed unit that's located on the first floor of Bellevue Medical Center as well. Really, again, a diverse population. Although it's small, you do get that experience caring for some great critically ill patients. So you feel, again, at home right there as soon as you walk in the door. You can go on, Erin. So staffing, we don't have a step-down unit at Bellevue. So the intensive care unit has anywhere from a ratio. So the intensive care unit sees those patients. We have anywhere from about a 1-to-1 to 1-to-3, just based on the acuity of the patients that are in there. We have patient care tech support, a team lead. We don't have a supervisor model there. The staff do directly report to me. Melanie is really an integral part of that team as well. We have an advanced practice provider RN that is there 24/7 to support our critical care team. You probably would see a little bit longer training at Bellevue in the ICU just because of the experiences with the critical ill patients. So closer to 10 to 12 weeks based on experience level. And again, we offer that critical care fellowship and then nurse residency for the new grad RN. And then their experienced nurses are a little bit closer to 6 to 8 weeks of orientation. You can go to the next one, Erin. Again, we just like to show some of the fun. Again, I kind of touched on Bellevue being that community hospital, and we love being involved in the community. There's a Bellevue leadership program that is run through the Bellevue Chamber of Commerce that individuals have an opportunity to participate in. This was a picture on the bottom is the big pink breakfast that takes place at Shadow Lake. Our staff in the past have supported the Offutt Air Show, and we just really love being integrated into the community at Bellevue. I think it's really something special. The area schools, the area churches are often bringing things and supporting our teams, and we're really thankful for that. If you want to go on, we'll touch on the ED just a little bit. So Amy, I'm just going to cover quick, and then if you want to add anything, please feel free. But our emergency department is amazing. We have a really great collaborative relationship with them. Again, being small, we can just call one another up and say, hey, we got this going on. But our emergency department is a 21-bed community ED. They see lots of patients, over 28,000 visits annually. They do have some pediatric patients. Our inpatients do not take pediatrics. Our procedural services does see some of those. Melanie and I's units only take 16 and above. Our nursing staff and the emergency department have all of those certifications that you see listed. So you would gain those as you become employed there. There is a pediatric course for additional preparation in caring for those the smallest patients. Again, the ED has a really vibrant nurse fellowship program. I love that we offer that for a lot of our departments for the new graduate nurse to really help our teams be successful, our new nurses be successful. Again, emphasizing that certified chest pain and stroke center. And the emergency department is staffed with board certified emergency physicians. So a very strong emergency room. I want to say we are the second busiest next to main campus emergency room in the city. But Amy, you can let me know if I'm wrong on that. And you can go to the last slide. Again, lots of fun happens in the emergency department as well. They were recognized in the letter from our patient. So our picture traveled all around, and then just lots of other fun that happens as well. We love to celebrate Nurses Week, Care Techs Week, as everyone does throughout the hospital. So overall, Bellevue, again, to Aaron's point, is really just that best kept secret, I feel like, of Nebraska Medicine. Again, I think no matter where you choose to work at Nebraska Medicine, it's a blessing, and it's a great experience. I do find, especially if you live in the Bellevue area, that Bellevue is an amazing, amazing place to be. So thank you so much for letting us have a little spotlight on somewhere we think is really special.
Yes, and thank you guys. That was awesome. So great job getting the word out there. And again, thank you so much. And if you guys are in their breakout room later, you will hear even more from Bellevue Medical Center. So next up, we have one of our nurse managers, Eric Borgmeyer. He is going to tell us a little bit about his journey through Nebraska Medicine. He has had a couple different career paths, and just thought it'd be good to share all of the different opportunities that have been presented to him. So Eric, if you're ready, we can just tell me when to hit your next slides.
Okay. So as Aaron said, my name is Eric Borgmeyer. I'm the manager of the neurosciences unit. So we're a 48-bed unit on the 6th floor of Clarkson Tower. You can hit the next slide. So just a little bit about me. So I am a Nebraska native. I was born in Norfolk, Nebraska. Graduated high school in 2005 and then moved to Omaha shortly after. I am married. I do have one cat. He's new to the family. You can see his picture there, Mr. Billings. Some of my hobbies would be woodworking. I have a picture of my shop in the basement there. I love to restore and repurpose furniture. Gardening is something that I really enjoy, and I love to learn new things. One of the new things that I've learned recently is how to put up wallpaper. So you can see the picture there with the red flower wallpaper. I think it looks great, but it is not something that I probably would ever do again myself. I think I would hire somebody the next time to do that project for me. You can do the next slide. So thinking about my time in Nebraska Medicine, kind of how I got here. So I did have quite a random mix of work experience. I worked at a call center for a while. I worked at TD Ameritrade. I thought I was going to become a stockbroker. I worked at Union Pacific. I went to school for aesthetics and actually got my esthetician license but none of them quite felt right. So when I was talking to some of my friends about what should I do, nursing was brought up. So I went and got my CNA and then applied to the Nebraska Medical Center, and then my application was denied. I applied again and it was denied again. And then I almost didn't apply the third time, but I just had a feeling I was like, I should just do it, and applied and ended up getting an interview. The interview I thought went terribly. A question that pops out in my head would be, why did you choose Nebraska Medicine? And what I had meant to say was, it's just such a big place. There's stuff going on here. It's the center of everything. It's the best hospital in the region. That's kind of what I wanted to say. What I ended up saying was, it's such a big place. You guys have your own interstate exit. So I still ended up getting offered the job. They seen something in me, and I began my career at Nebraska Medicine in November 2009. You can do next. So I've had a few different careers here at Nebraska Medicine. So I started off as a clerk patient care tech in neuro ICU. Once I graduated with my BSN from Clarkson, I transitioned into the staff nurse role in neuro ICU. I was there for a few years and then decided I wanted to try something different. I wanted to expand my knowledge a little more. And so I went to the emergency department. That was a great place to go and expand my skill set. I knew I wanted to get into leadership. And so a staff nurse lead position opened up in my home unit of neuro ICU. So I transitioned back upstairs. And then shortly after that, the associate nurse manager position opened up on the neuromed surge unit on 6 Neuro. So I left my staff nurse lead role and went into the associate nurse manager role on 6. A few months after I accepted that position, they announced that we were going to have a leadership restructure, and that position was going to be eliminated for the supervisor model. So I decided to try something completely different, left nursing, stayed in healthcare, and went to the Six Sigma Black Belt role in operational improvement. So nothing to do with karate. It's more of a project manager role that had to do with quality improvement. So I had exposure to a plethora of different things across the organization, spent time in the OR, spent time with pharmacy, some ambulatory projects. It was a really interesting career. And then once the nurse manager position opened up on 6 Neuro, I accepted that, and I've been here for the last 8 or 9 months. Video next. So the next few slides are about why do I stay at Nebraska Medicine. So the opportunities at Nebraska Medicine are really endless. I mean, that's kind of why I chose this picture. So you can see our campus goes from Saddle Creek all the way down to the Midtown Crossing, and we have employees throughout this whole gamut here. Actually, at Midtown Crossing, there is probably 4 floors of that building that are all Nebraska Medicine employees. That's where a lot of our operations actually are housed out of. But as I talk about the opportunities, I mean, I started off here as a patient care tech, and then just worked on myself and took advantage of the opportunities that the organization provided me all the way up to nurse manager. So one of the first things that I got into was I took part in our shared governance structure. So I got involved with the unit-based council, decided that it was really neat. I was able to make some changes on the unit, and ended up becoming the unit-based council chair, which then led me to the patient experience council chair, and I grew from that. I was able to be involved in policy and procedure changes. And one of the great things about that was the organization really wanted to hear what I had to say as a nurse on the front line. What can we do to make this place a better place to work? What do you need? So it was great getting exposure and experiences with that, getting to problem solve. Another great experience that I had was when I became a Six Sigma Black Belt. When COVID started, we had to switch everything in the organization. All of our priorities changed, and I actually an opportunity to train with NETEC and go to the, various different nursing homes throughout the state, to the meatpacking plants, and help them with COVID preparedness. So I got exposure to so many different people across the state, and that was a great experience. You can do next. Another reason why I stayed in Nebraska Medicine would be the values. So I told you about a few other careers, organizations that I worked for, and I couldn't tell you what the values were at any of those other places. But at Nebraska Medicine, one of the amazing things is nearly every employee can tell you what our 6 values are. We have the I Teach model, and this is really how I go about my work. This is what I expect from my employees, and they know that they can expect me to emulate these 6 values as well. And that's something that I hold really, really valuable to me. And the last slide. So this is the real reason why I stay at Nebraska Medicine. The primary reason why I'm still here is the people. As you can see in these pictures, these are pictures from various different careers that I've had around the organization. And the awesome thing is I truly feel like I have a new family every single place that I go, whether it was the ICU, the ER, 6 neuro, when I was a black belt. I just got exposure to all these different people and made all these connections. And now I can't walk down the hallway without stopping and talking to somebody about how their kid's doing, or it's great. I feel like I am a member of something bigger than myself. And that's why I stay at Nebraska Medicine. That is all I got.
Wow, Eric, that was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And I hope you all realize, starting at Nebraska Medicine, there's just so many different routes you can take and so many different people you can get connected with. So thank you again for sharing. That was really great to hear. All right, you guys, I think it's now time for our second breakout session. So we will start that now and then come back to this main room here in 30 minutes. Hello, everyone.
Hello again.
All right, should we go ahead and get started? Is it a little delayed like the other one, or are we good?
We should be good. Is everybody? This is the experienced nurses room. It gonna talk about clinic nursing, or really just any route you're wanting to take. So I just want to make sure everyone is in the right room. Is anyone thinking they're supposed to be somewhere else? All good? Okay, we can go ahead and get started.
Perfect. Do you want to start with introductions, Erin?
Yes. So in this room, we have a couple different people, great resources for everybody. Christy Hammer is one of our recruiters here. She focuses a lot on ambulatory positions and those clinic nurse positions, as well as some other kind of one-off situations and APPs as well. We also have Ashley Harrell, who is a sourcer on the talent acquisition team. She's brand new with us. And before that, she was a nurse. So really great perspective there as well. Sue Nuss, you saw the beginning of, it's one of those days, the beginning of, she said hello to you there. And it looks like we have Kaylee Guinan now too, who is the nurse residency and NPDS manager. So you guys want to go around and tell a little bit more about yourselves?
So I can go ahead and start. So as Erin mentioned, I am one of our nursing recruiters, and I focus mainly on the clinic ambulatory positions and then our APPs. And then I guess, do Sue and Kaylee, do you guys want to touch a little bit on yourselves as well?
Sure. So I'm Sue Nuss, Chief Nursing Officer. I've been with Nebraska Medicine for 25 years. Been in the Chief Nursing Officer role almost 6 years. Been a nurse for almost 37, 38. I lose track. I have to do my math. And my background is primarily pediatric oncology before I got into nursing administration.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm Kaylee. I've been at Nebraska Medicine for 23 years in just about every FTE and quite a few roles over the years. I've been involved in nursing education for the last 10. So while I coordinate the nurse residency program, I also do a lot with continuing education and professional development and transitioning of new people. So I thought it'd be fun to join this group.
Perfect. Well, and then, sorry, Ashley.
That's okay. A little bit about me. I've been a nurse for 15 years. As Erin mentioned, I'm new to talent acquisition, but I started my career at Nebraska Medicine when I was in nursing school as a summer student partner, and then I became a CNA there during those summers of during break of nursing school. And then I traveled around the country and worked in different hospitals around the country. And for the past, since 2008, I've been a nurse at Nebraska Medicine. And then I stayed home for a little bit with my family. And I've been back for the last 7 years as a bedside nurse. And just about a month ago, I transitioned to talent acquisition.
Yay. Excited to have you.
Thanks.
Perfect. And then I guess since we have a little bit of a smaller group, do you guys want to go ahead and share a little bit about, your nursing background? I can go ahead and kind of just call on people. And then also you're more than welcome to have your cameras on if you would like, since it's a smaller group, kind of makes it a little more conversational and everything. So you're more than welcome to do that. But first on my screen, I have Dawn. Dawn, do you want to go ahead and walk us a little bit through your nursing career so far?
Yes, I'm Dawn. I've been a nurse for 8 years. I first worked in a med surg in Midlands, Midlands Hospital for about 1.5 years as my first out of school. And all you guys talk about the residency thing and all that. I wish I would have done that my first year, because I feel like I would have been way higher in my abilities back then than I was at that point. Then I moved on to a rehab facility that it's inpatient, short-term, independent rehab, and I've been there 6 years. So
perfect. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Erin, Erin Peterson, I have you next on my screen. If you would like to share a little bit about you.
Sure. Hi. I've been a nurse for 14 years. 12 of those I was an LPN, so I'm a recent BSN graduate. Mainly I've been in a lot of clinic situations, dabbled in home care, taking care of ALS patients, a lot of ventilator patients, pediatric and adults, both of those. Had a brief stint with a step down unit, which I found out was not my forte. But I've been in dermatology for those entire 14 years. So I started out in general dermatology and ended up in a surgical environment, and just really like the surgical background and the wound care. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to explore some options on what the other clinics in Nebraska Med has to offer. Thanks.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Tanya, I have you next on my list, if you will. You want to start?
Let me try to get this all unmuted. Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. I don't know if you can see me or not, but my name is Tanya. I'm actually from Valentine, Nebraska. I started my nursing career not really realizing that I was going to be a nurse. So I was an aide at the nursing home, and then I went to the hospital, and then I got my EMT, and then I went on and got my RN, and I loved it. And then I did about 2 years of, while I stayed at Valentine, I've been there for going on 24 years. And then I did 2 years at the Rosebud Indian Health Service in the ER, which was a lot of trauma. And then I did flight nursing for our local flight team that we have now for 2 years. And I've just remained at the hospital and just did those outreach. And so I was invited to this. And I thought, well, this looks interesting. And then it's all UNMC. And I'm like, am I supposed to be here? But it sounds all very interesting. And I love all your stories.
Yes, you are supposed to be.
Sorry if I look bad. I just got off the treadmill. So.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yes. Thank you guys too.
Yeah. Awesome. And then I have Amy Peterson. I have you next. Do you want to share? I think we got.
Hi.
There you go.
I was pressing down there. Sorry about that. So clinic work. Let's see. I started out in clinic oh my gosh, 2007, working in South Dakota at Ellsworth Air Force Base. I had gone to work in the clinic at Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Landstuhl, Germany, and I did OB there. In South Dakota, I had done a combination of family health and peds, and I was the go-to because I'm trained in breastfeeding. And then let's see, I had worked for a time at Wilford Hall in Lackland Air Force Base in Texas. And right now I'm working in an OB clinic. I do triage.
Awesome. Well, good. Very good. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. And then I have Denise. Denise, do you want to go next?
Yes, thank you. I think I've interviewed with you, Christy, already before for a position or two.
Well, nice to see you in person. It's kind of nice.
This is really neat. I love this. I've done this. I attended one of these a few months, the last one that you guys had, and it's so unique. And I love having this opportunity to be able to do this and see everyone and meet everyone and everything. I just have to throw that in there. Sorry, but it's really it's a great opportunity. I'm trying to get some other people I know to attend one of these. But anyway, I've been a nurse for about 15 years. I was a nursing assistant for 5 years before that at one of the hospitals. And I started out in skilled nursing, and then I did a few years in critical care and coronary care and floated to ICU and post-intensive. The last 8 years that I worked, I was working outpatient surgical at an independent facility, outpatient surgical facility, mostly pre-op PACU. And I love it. I love critical care, but I love the pre-op PACU too. I was one of the people that, because I worked for an independent facility last year, I was laid off due to COVID. And I've since become a home caregiver for one of my parents. So I lost my dad and my brother about a little over a year ago. And so I'm my mom's home caregiver now. So I'm kind of torn. I miss working so badly out in the public, but I know this is kind of where I need to be too, but thank you. But so it's been kind of a tough transition trying to know where I belong again and where I can, how I can do this with my situation here at home too. But I've been really so impressed with the Med Center, and especially through the whole COVID situation. I mean, if I am going back to work in a hospital again, this is where I want to be. I love everything about it. And my dad was a patient there before he passed. He was a stroke patient, and the care he got, especially in the neuroscience ICU and the stroke team, I couldn't say enough for them, and the nurses were just phenomenal. So this is someplace that I just really would love to be a part of again, if it's possible to do that, and finding the right way to do it is going to be, the challenge. But I'm really impressed with all of you and the work that you do. And so far, everything, the whole open house has been really, really impressive tonight. So I really appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. That was really sweet. That was a very good story. But perfect. Well, no, thank you for sharing. That's great. And lastly, we have Lauren. Lauren, do you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Lauren. I apologize. I'm not able to share video right now. I am a nurse educator. I have been a nurse for about 22 years. I have my master's in nursing education and certifications in nursing professional development, as well as a certified nurse educator. I work in an academic setting now, but have worked in hospital-based staff development. And my clinical background is telemetry and step-down patient populations from teaching hospitals to community hospitals. So I am just exploring possible opportunities at Nebraska Medicine.
Well, good. Awesome.
I think we have Kaylee here this time. She is the
I'm
perfect
like
person.
cheering inside. I can't contain myself. Lauren, I'm your person, so we'll connect.
Good, thank you.
Well, good. Well, thank you all for sharing a little bit about your guys' self. I really appreciate it. A little bit just about the conversation today. Like, whoops, did you say something? Oh, sorry. I thought Erin was trying to talk. No worries. Well, so I wanted to talk a little bit about, so as Erin mentioned previously, I do mainly our ambulatory clinic setting positions. So I'll kind of talk a little bit about those. What I guess you could say like development looks like at Nebraska Medicine. So you heard from Sue and Kaylee and and Ashley too. They both have a lot of, growth within the organization, which I think has been great and a good, testament to Nebraska Medicine and really where nursing can take you. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that and then some of the different types of positions that I currently have open. And then obviously we can have it just be as, informal or formal as you would like. So feel free to jump in at any time if you have questions and we'll kind of go there. And then for Ashley, Sue, Kaylee, Erin, if you guys want to jump in too, go for it. So, but yeah, so like I mentioned, to start, I wanted to talk a little bit about, so first of all, the types of clinics that we have at Nebraska Medicine are going to be in our primary care setting, internal medicine, family medicine, and then we do have our immediate care clinics as well. And then I'll talk a little bit in a bit about more of like the process and what it looks like, but some of the current open positions that I have right now, I wanted to touch on. And I know I've spoke with a few of you before, so that's exciting to get you to see you guys in person and everything too. Obviously as a recruiter, it's almost like 99% over the phone. So when I get to see you guys in person, that is awesome. So I'm glad you guys are here with us tonight. But I'll kind of dive into some of the positions, and the order that I'm starting in is, I suppose you could say, so some of the ones that I have towards the bottom are kind of what it looks like, different paths that you can grow into Nebraska Medicine. So I have some of our positions to start, like, of course, our clinic nurse positions. So some of those that I have, pretty much the majority of the ones that I will cover right now are going to be more of that, like Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, no weekends, no holidays, those type of positions, which might be a good path for some of you, it sounded like. And then I'll clarify the ones that aren't necessarily that type of way either, just so you're aware. But to start back to the clinic nurse position, some of the ones that I currently have right now would be our like triage nurse position. So I heard someone did have some previous triage experience. So that one is always Amy. Definitely great experience to have when it comes to, a triage nurse position, because you definitely, we look for people who have those critical thinking skills, and, lots of different types of backgrounds of nursing are good for triage because they see a lot of different calls that come in too. So definitely great experience. And then we have I have some clinic nurse positions open for our ENT clinic, cardio, ortho, pain management, our primary care float pool, which is a brand new position, and then our donate life RN position as well, which is a brand new position. So two of those, I always get excited when I have a brand new position to recruit for, because I think, as a nurse, you can kind of take this new role and it's obviously allows you to be a little more versatile and adaptable, but it's kind of nice starting a brand new role and, just seeing where it goes and growing with Nebraska Medicine too. And then I also have a bunch of our for COVID. So that's obviously been something we're all very familiar with this past year. But for that, we have some part-time and full-time positions right now. Now, those positions are, I suppose you could say, I hope, temporary in the sense that eventually we will no longer need that type of position, but it's definitely a great way to get your foot in the door at Nebraska Medicine and obviously get to help out with patients that really need it through the swab center and then giving vaccines as well. So any questions on overall general on clinic nurse positions that you guys can think of? All right, good. So I'll go into some of the other ones that we have too. So I also do have the opportunity to recruit for some of our staff nurse positions as well, which are going to be not necessarily in the clinic setting, but not necessarily bedside either. So they're kind of an in-between. So for example, I have our oral surgery clinic, which has some obviously surgical background to it, and then our HBO unit as well. So I have those two positions. Some other ones I see a lot of are like their Warner Treatment Center. For some infusion, we see some of those, and then apheresis, I have some of those as well. So those are kind of ones that fall under my category of ambulatory for that. Did you want to jump in, Kaylee?
No, I was gonna say someone said they had worked with AML patient, and at the specialty infusion center in the Warner, they often do some of those drugs for the chronic MS patients. And it's a way to kind of stay with your population.
Yeah. Perfect. No, that's great to know. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Good. And then some of the other positions as we kind of progress. So one of the positions that we call at Nebraska Medicine are called nursing care coordinator positions. These are actually some of my favorite positions to recruit for. They're kind of like a hybrid position between a clinic nurse and a case manager. So you do have some of the same job responsibilities as a clinic nurse. So like the triage, medication refill, scheduling, that type of stuff. But then you also get to work, more, I guess, closer with the physicians and really get to focus more on the plane of care with patients as well. So a lot of time those are going to be more in obviously the clinic setting as well, to kind of focus on a specialty. So some that I have right now are in our ortho clinic, primary care in our Midtown clinic, the Durham Outpatient Center Family Medicine Clinic, and then I will have a nephrology one opening up here later this week as well. So those are always some of my favorite ones, just because it's a good growth position at Nebraska Medicine. I would say it's, if you're kind of looking to get into different realms of nursing and take more responsibility on, those are good ones to kind of start your career at as well. And then on the kind of the flip side of that is for ambulatory supervisor positions. It's probably another one of my favorite ones to recruit for, because it's usually people who are getting in and being, taking leadership on, and it's usually their first type of position into leadership. So I think those are great ones as well, if that's kind of the path that you're looking to get in, is to start in leadership. We often, we'll have like lead positions open and stuff like that, but I think kind of as a whole, Nebraska Medicine is leaning more towards the supervisor roles, which go more towards having, direct reports and really working very closely with the clinic managers as well. So those are great ones for getting into leadership. And then a few others. So case manager as well. We of course have those type of positions. If you are also looking to kind of specialize in furthermore, I don't have any of those open right now, but I should hopefully have one posted by the end of this week that is for interventional pulmonary. So that'll be, I don't know much details about that one quite yet, but more information to come. And then Kaylee will know a little bit about this one. So we also do the nursing professional development specialist positions too. So I'm going to actually let Kaylee talk about those ones if you want to touch on that in general.
Sure. So we call our clinical educators nursing professional development specialists. So there's 43 of us across the organization that supports the professional development needs of our people. We do a lot with orientation, onboarding, education, competencies, fellowships, just anything education related that you can think of. And actually one of those open positions at Midtown is because I just snagged a coordinator.
Thank you for making more work for me.
Who's gonna start with me soon. It's a really good position that it supports people and it supports the house without being not patient care and just in an office. It's a good combo of still having your hands in and being able to support people. We have people in every area that we have patients and clinics and buildings, from inpatient to procedural to ambulatory. And we are a really good group, not that I'm biased, but we are. And it's a great opportunity. If you are interested, put my info in the chat for Lauren, but let me know. I'd be happy to tell you more about it or let you know when a position's open. It's a good job and it's a great way to develop yourself and get the satisfaction of growing other people. You guys have some crazy diverse experience on here, and that really lends itself to being able to guide others in those areas.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. I think from when, so I, like Kaylee just said, I filled the ambulatory position that she had for a nursing professional development specialist. It's a mouthful, by the way. So we like doing that NPDS for short sometimes. But so when we were talking about that role and previously before, one of my favorite things that, I don't know if I always use it necessarily as a selling point, but Kaylee had said that, you know, you're kind of like the, especially in the inpatient setting, you're kind of like the new hires mom for like the first month or so. So you kind of have that, you know, needing or, you know, able to be a leader or a teacher in that kind of situation too. So I think it's, you know, obviously definitely a very important role for any new one who's coming into the organization. So, well, good. So that is for our NPDS positions. And then a few others that I wanted to touch on as well. So again, these are some that I don't currently have open right now, but are ones that are definitely good if you're looking for growth in an organization. So for care transition nurse positions, and then clinical program coordinator. So, you know, whether if you are looking for, like kind of earlier that like the leadership position. So if you're looking for more of a supervisor role, or if you're looking for more of the like the technical or analytical type positions, you know, Nebraska Medicine definitely has both as well. So like the clinical program coordinator positions are really good positions for more of that analytical focused mind and everything. And then the kind of like mentioned, the supervisor type positions are great if you're looking to get into leadership. So that in a very fast nutshell is just some of the current positions that we have available. Are there any questions that I can answer for you about any of those specifically? Other positions at Nebraska Medicine, Ashley and Aaron can jump in for other ones as well, but what questions do you guys have?
Can I thank you? Would you mind reiterating one more time that the title of that position you're talking about at Midtown? Or was it was it at Midtown? Is that what you're talking about? The Midtown location or clinic?
The nursing care coordinator?
Yes.
Yeah, what was it called? I'm sorry.
Yep, nursing care coordinator.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep, so that one is in it. I know it's kind of long. So nursing care coordinator at the primary or for primary care at Midtown. So definitely a long one, but yeah, nursing care coordinator for short.
Thank you.
Yeah. What other questions?
Hi. What kind of background do you look for the nursing professional development specialists? What, like any degree requirements or?
BSN required, a certification preferred, and that's on the job description, but about 1/3 of my people have their master's in usually education. Background is pretty much all over because, you know, people who have a clinical background in OB, they go here. People who know ambulatory, procedural, inpatient, ED go there. It's kind of all over the board.
Perfect. What other questions? We have about sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say we have about 2 minutes left.
I was gonna say we do have, someone mentioned they like dermatology. We do have a dermatology clinic. My friend just went there and absolutely loves it. And then we also have an inpatient, we have inpatient wound nurses and we have an outpatient wound clinic. And some of the people work out and some work in and some work both. So you get to kind of see a little bit of everything.
think the other thing, so a few other, I think I talked about this in the last group too, but, kind of continuing on with, how nursing can take you in so many different routes. Some of the, necessarily call them random, but more interesting positions that I have open that aren't just fall under the category of staff nurse or clinic nurse is I have an infection preventionist position. We have a poison center positions and then a trauma program coordinator position too. So there's obviously within the types of backgrounds that you look for, there's so many different opportunities available. And, especially the infection preventionist position right now, that's huge for not only Nebraska Medicine, but, really all over the world and everything and doing some of the research. It is a grant funded, type background and everything too. So that's a good, important role. And then lastly, I'll just touch on a few of the inpatient supervisor positions too, that some of my coworkers asked me to share, but I have a few nursing supervisor positions for the medical ICU, med surg, cardiac EP lab, and then I have one for the PICU as well. So wanted to kind of throw in some of those other ones that are, again, more of those leadership type positions, but are in the inpatient setting as well. So again, thank you all so much for joining this session. I know it's very fast and everything too, but definitely let us know if you have questions, and we'll see you in the main group here in a second.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, looks like everyone's making their way back. Again, tell us in the chat what you thought about that breakout session. Maybe you learned something new this time. Maybe you found your dream job in that breakout session. Let us know what your thoughts were. Okay, so I'm going to take just a couple minutes here to wrap up before we continue on with nurse residency. So if you guys are unfamiliar, our career site is nebraskamed.com/careers. When you're on that page, you can search RN or even maybe staff nurse, and all of the nursing positions should populate that way. If you're looking for something specific, you can always kind of detail that. Otherwise, on the left-hand side of the page, there are some filters that you can kind of narrow it down by shift or location. So feel free to do that. If you have any questions after today, and I hope we answered most of them, feel free to email sourcing@nebraskamed.com. And then again, I hope you all had the ability to sign up for that nursing ebook, so that way we can continue to stay in touch with you that way. And then this last session here will be for nursing new grads. I just wanted to say that last breakout I was in, Sue Ness, our chief nursing officer, was in with us, and she had to hop off now, but she wanted to tell me thank you to all of you for attending. Thanks for your participation. We hope that we see you here at Nebraska Medicine. So once you apply, the recruiters that were in your rooms will work through the application process and interview process with you. So again, hopefully we'll continue to see you guys there. But yeah, so if you were an experienced nurse and you aren't wanting to stay for the nurse residency program, that is totally fine. We do appreciate you being here. If you want to stay anyway and just learn even more about Nebraska Medicine, we would love to have you do that too. Otherwise, this is going to be kind of focused towards our new grads in that first year of nursing out of school. So I will hand it over to Kaylee and she can take it away.
Hi guys, my name is Kaylee Guinan. I am a nurse at Nebraska Medicine and I've been here for 23 years. And in that time, I have worked in just about every shift and FTE possible. My clinical passion's cardiology, and I've been in nursing education for the last 10 years. And I want to tell you a little bit about the nurse residency program at Nebraska Medicine. So nurse residency is actually a term for a transition to practice program. And that's because we know based on research that it absolutely takes a year to transition into a new job. And these nurse residency programs or transition programs are now the norm or the gold standard. There are more people who have them than don't at this point, and we know that they are very, very valuable to the new grad and building that foundation in nursing. At Nebraska Medicine, we've had our program, which is AACN Vizient, since 2009. Nurse residency programs, everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to learn how to put in an IV or an NG, but nurse residency programs are more brain and emotional transition. We have clinical orientation, we have clinical fellowships and classes that you take separate. Nurse residency is really about you critically thinking and adjusting to your new role, being a bedside leader, learning how to communicate in the profession. And that's really what the year's all about. We plan the topics of what we do when you need it the most, and I'll show you a schedule in a slide or two. And we know that based on this program's evidence-based, so we know based on like 15 years of research what to include, what people need, and when they need it the most. You can go on to the next slide. For our nurse residency program, we meet with nurse residents once a month for 11 months. The first hour or two that we meet, it's a topic of the day where myself and Erin Jordan, who's my partner in the program, coordinate learning about whatever our topic of the day is. For example, early on, it's stress management, how to get organized, how to delegate, how to prioritize. In the middle, it's more about how to see the changing patient condition or recognize those red flags. Towards the end, it's more about death, dying, medical ethics, and lifelong learning. The second hour or two is small group activity and cohort groups. So for each nurse residency group, which is about 50 to 150 people, depending on the time of the year, we break that down into smaller, about 10 size groups. Those small groups will meet for an hour or two and do something unit or population specific. We try and group people together. And that time is spent with what we call Tales from the Bedside, which is kind of telling stories about what happens and getting feedback from others, or activities like some people take a field trip to the morgue, some people go and go to the Global Davis Center and do simulation, things like that. We know that everyone's favorite part of nurse residency is the cohorts and the people that they meet. It's very hard being a new grad when you feel like you don't know a whole lot and everyone around you seems really smart. And you have a group of people who are in the same position as you, learning at the same pace, and they kind of become your people. And those people end up being your friends for life, essentially. We do 3 nurse residency groups a year, and we coincide those by graduation date. So the schedule up here, you can't see it, it's kind of small, but the schedule on the slide, this is for the people who are starting March 8th and they were December grads. And then our May group will start in July, our July and August grads will start in November. So 3 times a year, we run through a schedule of topics and the program itself. You can go to the next one. This slide is kind of crazy, but it shows you why nurse residency programs are really important. On the left side of the graph, if you look at the top says well-being and the bottom says distress and despair. On the bottom axis on the left, it's a brand new, your first day on the job, all the way to the right, where you've been in this career for a year. We know that new nurses go through 4 phases, which is the honeymoon phase, when you're on top of the world, excited to learn everything, to the shock phase, when you can't believe you got yourself into this, to the recovery phase, when you're starting to balance, back up to the resolution phase. So throughout your year, you make that dip. If when you hit the shock phase, this is when people are vulnerable in their profession because they realize how much weight is on their shoulders and how much and how important their work is in a life or death world. And people get kind of shocky and have a hard time until they get to that recovery phase. If you have programs and supports in place, when people hit that shock phase or the low point, they won't hit as low and they'll recover faster, which is what that blue line is about. So if when you start, we make you go to these classes and we give you supports, when you hit there, it's not as low and you recover faster so that you can be better prepared to learn and to care for patients and have a solid foundation for the rest of your career. That's why we do the nurse residency program. You can close the slides. I'm just going to talk for a little bit. So we know this is the trajectory of how new grads go, and we do know new grads. We hire about 250 a year throughout the hospital. They go to about 26 different units and all come together in this program. The last year has been a little crazy. We kept nurse residency going because when people are stressed, they need programs like this more than they need to not be there. And so we continued with nurse residency through COVID. We just did some more Zoom than we would have for the big groups, and then the small groups were able to meet in people because that was in person, because that was fewer people in a room, or some of them did Zoom for both. But that support was still provided and absolutely necessary. I think that this is a great place to work. We have very supportive people around you. It's not just the nurse residency. It's not just the facilitators who manage the sessions. It's your manager, your supervisor, your NPDS, your preceptor, everyone kind of looking out for you at a unit level. And then you have other supports across the hospital and the classes or the programs that you go to. I obviously would recommend Nebraska Medicine, but wherever you go, you need to ask, do you have a nurse residency program? Because there's a lot of different programs out there and they're not all the same. So ask about the program, see what it is, find out some of those details, because we do know you need a support to start your career. And we do want you to have that solid foundation. So that's a little bit about the program itself. What specific questions can I answer about nurse residency or the starting onboarding process in general?
Is the residency program just for people for the hospital? Does it include the clinics?
So right now it is hospital-based people. So inpatient, ED, cath lab, holding rooms. We do not have an ambulatory nurse residency because honestly, the volume hasn't been there. Most people start inpatient and then go to a clinic a year or two later, but we've had 3 this year and we're talking about getting something running. Any new grad hired in one of those areas goes through this program. It's nothing that you have to apply for or we only take 20. We take any new grad who starts because we want everyone to have that foundation. You guys are quiet. Any more questions?
Well, thank you, Kaylee. That's always great to get that information. You do such a great job of explaining that. And yeah, if there's no other questions, that is everything that we had planned for you guys tonight. So I hope that you got some good information out of you make your decisions as you are kind of deciding where you're going to work once you graduate, or maybe if it is your next position, maybe this would be the right fit for you. So thank you all again for coming tonight. We will be sending out an email follow up with all the recordings and all of the information that we had tonight. So hopefully if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. Otherwise, we will be on the lookout for all of your applications. So have a great night, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Erin.
Yes, thank you to all of our managers who were able to make it tonight.